Sagittarius. Welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for October of 2021. We are the astrologers of Pandora Astrology. I'm Jamie Kale Miller. I'm in Berkeley, California.
And I'm Julia Mijas in San Francisco.
Well, Sag, if Sag is your sun sign rather than your rising sign and you're watching your sun sign horoscope, then your annual mop-up period is about to begin. That's the 30 days right before your birthday, and it's the time when the biggest changes happen. And your mop-up period is going to begin sometime in the next couple of weeks during this month. Getting a birthday reading now, or at least scheduling it now so you can have it before your birthday, is a wonderful way to begin your new year knowing what's already coming. You can find a link for that in the YouTube description below. Well, we've got some activity of Venus, a Mercury retrograde to talk about, Mars too, which is very involved with this month's two moons. And Julia, I think you're going to kick this off.
I sure am. Well, hey, Sagittarius. I'll start with Venus. Everybody loves to hear about Venus because she's the planet of relationships, the planet of beauty, and wherever we have her in our chart is where we find some pleasure. So Venus starts the month, and for the first week of the month, it's going to be in your 12th house. This is a very secluded, isolated house in the whole zodiac wheel. And when Venus is here, it can mean that this is a time where you just want to withdraw socially. Maybe you enjoy spending more time on your own. If you have a partner, then you two would probably, enjoy cuddling up at home more than kind of going out to restaurants or to bars. Then on October 7th, she's going to be moving into your first house where she's going to be for the rest of the month. Now, Venus loves to be in this house. It's a wonderful transit for any of the single Sagittariuses out there because you're going to be embodying Venus energy for the rest of the month after the first week. So you'll be looking a lot more pleasing to other people, and you can make really, really good first impressions on people too, especially if you need to be diplomatic or anything of that nature. So wonderful transit for the rest of the month to go out and meet somebody new. Then I want to talk about Mercury because Mercury starts the month retrograde in your 11th house. So with Mercury retrograding the 11th house rules your friends. It rules any groups that you're a part of. It also rules your future dreams, your hopes for the future, the plans that take a few years to realize, like maybe buying a house one day or starting a business. And with Mercury retrograde in this house, it can be a time of miscommunication among your friends or any groups that you're a part of. And it can also be a time where you might have to rethink and redo some of your future plans. Now, a very important date to keep track of is October 9th, because Mercury is going to exactly conjoin the sun at 16 degrees Libra. We like to call it Lesser Epiphany Day. And you might get some really, really great insights into your future goals and dreams, even if you have to kind of rework and redo them somewhat. So pay attention to what's going on in your mind around that time. Then by October 18th, Mercury is going to go direct. So all of these miscommunications might slowly start to get ironed out. A little bit of a shadow period, probably for about a week after that, but it'll get easier and easier. And then the last planet I'm going to talk about is Mars. Mars is going to be basically in your 11th house for the majority of the month. On October 30th, it moves into the 12th. But with Mars here for most of the month, Mars tends to be a very active planet. It sometimes can bring conflicts and frustrations too. And in your 11th house, especially with that retrograde Mercury, this could be a time of some sort of heated arguments with the people in your life, whether it's social circles or any kind of recovery programs, unions, gamer circles, groups that you're a part of. And then when Mars moves into your 12th house, that's mainly going to be covered by next month in November. So stay tuned for our horoscopes coming up to find out what that's going to be like.
Well, I hinted that the moons are very much involved with Mars this month, which they are. Here's the first of the two moons. It is precise in 13 degrees of Libra, and that happens on October 6th. Can't really see that right here, but that's okay. It's still apparent that they are in the 11th house. And new moons, of course, bring new beginnings. You see that Mars is nestled in here between the sun and moon. And and so there's a very strong feeling of drive and will. And we're calling this one making peace with adversaries, because the chances of arguments coming up and, people butting heads, pretty strong chances, especially with Chiron being opposed this moon. So this is a time to respect the sovereignty of your adversaries, respect that they are themselves and they want what they want, and you've just got to find a way to get what you want, and find your way to agreement. So there's a lot of a negotiating kind of energy with this moon. And as Julia said, because Mars is landing in the 11th house, and also because Chiron is landing in the 5th house, I would say that there is a very strong theme of like, not only me versus you, but me versus the group. And you might find yourself bringing some ego wounds to the table. And so being self-aware about that can really help your negotiations. There is some help during this moon from Juno and Ceres. But to find out more about that, I would refer you to our October 2021 news playlist, where you can see the video all about the moon, this particular moon. Now, later on in the month, on the 20th, we have the full moon this month. And here it is. The moon is in Aries. The sun is in Libra still, and Mars is still hanging out with the sun, trailing along behind it, but still conjunct it. So that adversarial feel is still pretty present in this second moon of the month, this being the full moon of the month. Full moons are oftentimes of high emotion. They often create dynamics that play out in our partnerships, where one partner might take the role of the feisty, emotionally outbursty, is that a word? It is now. Moon in Aries, and very like willful, sometimes maybe even in a childlike way. That moon in Aries opposed the more cool-headed and rational and Apollonian, as opposed to Dionysian, sun in Libra, except that the sun has that Mars there. So that sun might even get a little bit scrappy. And yeah, so once again, the possibility of conflict is pretty strong. And because of the involvement with Pluto, we're calling this one negotiate strongly, then let go. And the letting go is all about Pluto's involvement, because there's a point where you just can't control anymore. And if you don't let go and you go on fighting instead, well, that's when you just dig yourself deeper. And that's when things get really messy. And you can find out more about this moon also in our October 2021 news playlist on YouTube. So shortly after this second moon, the sun will move on into Scorpio right there. It actually happens on the 22nd, late day. The sun moves into Scorpio, and so Scorpio season begins. Scorpio is the third sign of harvesting. The harvesting begins with Virgo, which is of course the cutting of the grain and the separating of the wheat from the chaff. And then we have the harvest season of Libra. The leaves fall from the trees. It's a further harvesting of hays and grasses and so forth. And then we get into Scorpio, which is the butchering season, when the animals are culled and the meat is put away and cured for the winter. And so this is a season of death. It's a season of change and transformation. It's a season of the encroaching darkness. And it's a season when we can look forward to Halloween and kind of having some fun with the darkness inside of us. That'll be coming, of course, on October 31st. So that will bring some energy and attention into your 12th house, which is the domain of things hidden even from yourself. It's a domain of dreams and images and fantasies and imagination. And so your imagination may take you to some dark places, and shining a spotlight around inside of those regions is a really great pursuit when the sun moves into Scorpio. So, Sagittarius, hope you enjoyed that. We certainly enjoyed making it for you. You can always find your horoscopes on our website, pandoraastrology.com, and the horoscopes tab in the navigation bar. You can get readings with us or take classes. You can find that good stuff on our website too. And until next month, we'll see you around the cosmos. Bye-bye.
Bye.